I have a question that came in from a member who is curious. Now they're getting great results in their products, but when they first looked at the product, the drink specifically, they noticed the use of stevia. And so their question is that they have heard that maybe stevia is not as healthy as it is. And so I just want to bring the question to you directly. In formulating the products and using certain sweeteners or certain herbs that are sweet, I should say, what was the philosophy there, and in choosing one type versus another type of something that was sweet to put in there?
It's a good question. Yes, stevia, like so many things, has all sorts of positive publication and then some negative, because it became so, I mean, I'll be as blunt as I can on this, because it became such a heavily sought after sweetener. You have backlash from the sugar, a very powerful sugar industry looking to discredit stevia. Stevia has GRAS status, GRAS generally regarded as safe, GRAS, as do many other sweeteners now. And in fact, the family of sweeteners, or in other words, extracted for the sweet compounds from the plant, is growing rapidly. Monk fruit is jumping up there. Why? Because they haven't yet badmouthed monk fruit like they have stevia. But can I say this in answer to her question, because I want to validate her concern. Stevia, like any other plant, can be stolen from, just like you described at the start. I can find there are several sweet compounds in them. There are some that are more popular than others. And I can isolate down to a particular one, that because sweeteners, they hit in different ways, right? Some hit fast and then they taper off. Some come slowly and they end stronger and leave you with a better aftermouth feel, as they say. And some are right in the middle, and some are a combination. And so people, we love to science it out and isolate and alter. And I believe that about any plant, if someone wants to play with it too much and process it, is that not what we do when we create synthetic versions or highly isolated extracts, and they become a lot of things in the drug industry? Then a person starts to use large amounts of that, and we don't know what side effects and things happen. So stevia could be that way. We, of course, use a very balanced stevia. We, like with all of our plants, we look at how it's processed, and we make sure we're not doing anything that's, I would call, fringe and drug-like in the natural health world, because you can find that, absolutely. I have to give, do you mind if I give one example? Erica, because you said something about, science and art, right? For you. Like an example can be, I can give a very cheap and problematic product that is perfectly scienced. I can isolate something, I can label up how absolutely pure, show the procedure, show the facility in which it was produced, and on label, man, does it look impressive. And it will do next to nothing. Or in the case of a person who takes gobs and gobs of it, it can cause all sorts of imbalances. And that is why, again, back to the humility, we hope to always maintain, respecting the balance of nature, and yet trying to learn everything we can using good science, because it does help us learn more and see more if we don't forget this balance. So the same principle with stevia and any other sweetener that we might use. Lucuma is another one that you find in Infatuate. I've tasted two, or we love to go to, there's a show called Supply Side. There's usually generally one in the west of the United States, one in the east, and there are several outside the United States. But the shows in the United States are big. And you can always find new sweeteners. I tasted one from Africa. We were not interested in it a couple of years ago. Why? It was highly isolated and that was suspect in how much it was changed from that natural, because there are wonderful sweet, in fact, baobab, which is in Sol Royal, is really sweet. So you can find it. It's really, really good the way it is. And it's just more about the art and the right recipe instead of isolation and all that. So I think great question with stevia. I hope I didn't muddy it up with all the rest of the stuff, but yes, I think I think there could be, I'm not going to say right now, I know which are. There are a couple that I have come across in many years that I would not use that are stevia, but you'll generally see them on the label. They love to almost tout how different theirs is and how isolated and how it only does this and that. And to me, that's generally a red flag. When you see that, it's probably heavily altered from this wonderful plant that's quite nutritive and actually really good for your health. It's the stevia.